Imagine a classroom where every lesson feels like it was, designed just for your brain, adapting in real time to how you learn best. Or maybe a world where teachers, instead of drowning in grading and paperwork, actually have more time to truly connect with students, ignite curiosity, and mentor them. Does that sound like science fiction? A distant future, maybe? Well, today we're taking a deep dive into something that's rapidly bringing this vision to life: artificial intelligence in education. We're here to explore the profound, sometimes surprising ways AI is reshaping the very fabric of learning and teaching. And our mission isn't just to cover the buzzwords. We're going to unpack AI's truly transformative potential, especially when it comes to personalized learning. But importantly, we'll also rigorously examine the inherent complexities, the critical challenges, and frankly, the ethical tightropes we absolutely must navigate. To do this, we've sifted through, well, a mountain of comprehensive analyses, cutting-edge research papers, and crucial reports on AI's integration into education. Our goal is to bring you the most essential, actionable insights from all that material. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah. And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how AI is proving to be more than just another tech tool in the classroom. It really isn't. It's not simply an add-on, or just an efficiency booster. It's acting as a profound catalyst for systemic change across the entire educational landscape. And this really necessitates a balanced approach right from the outset,
Yeah.
one that prioritizes human agency and ethical considerations. We have to recognize that we're not just tweaking existing systems here. We are, in essence, fundamentally reshaping our understanding of what education is and, maybe more importantly, what it needs to become for the next generation.
That's a powerful framing. It
Yeah.
really is. It's clear we're talking about something way beyond just putting more computers in classrooms.
Yeah.
So for an audience that's already pretty well versed in the tech space, how should we think about what AI in education, or AIE as it's called, actually is? What sets it apart?
That's an excellent question because the distinction is crucial. At its core, AI in education, or AIE, it isn't merely about integrating digital tools. That's kind of the old way of thinking. It's the strategic application of artificial intelligence technologies specifically designed to enhance both the teaching and the learning experience. Fundamentally, AI empowers machines to perform tasks that traditionally demand human intelligence think, learning from data, adapting to new information, or making decisions based on complex inputs. You know the drill. In an educational context, this capability is meticulously applied to, well, augment and personalize student learning pathways, and also to automate those repetitive or time-consuming tasks that really burden educators, and critically, to safeguard sensitive student data, which we'll definitely need to talk more about.
Right. So it's doing things humans do, but in a specific educational setting.
Exactly. And within educational settings, we commonly encounter three core types of AI, each with distinct capabilities. It's helpful to break them down. The
Yeah.
first is reporting AI. Now, you might think this is just basic data analysis, but it's more sophisticated than that. It leverages complex algorithms to analyze vast educational data sets and generate insightful reports at a scale and speed previously, frankly, unimaginable. Its key advantages go beyond just accuracy. It has an impressive ability to identify subtle patterns and correlations that might remain invisible to human analysis alone.
Okay, like what kind of things?
Think about its application, from proactively identifying attendance trends that might signal a student is disengaging, to generating really granular grade reports that show specific concept mastery. And even optimizing resource allocation, like figuring out inefficiencies in classroom space usage or textbook distribution. It basically transforms raw data into actionable intelligence for educators and administrators.
Gotcha. So spotting trends, making data useful. What's next?
The second type is reactive AI. Now, unlike its more advanced counterparts, reactive AI operates without the capacity to form or access memories of past interactions. It doesn't learn from experience in that sense. Think of it less as a learner and more as an exceptionally fast, highly sophisticated, rule-based system, maybe like a calculator on steroids, if you will.
Right. It just reacts to what's in front of it.
Precisely. It performs straightforward, predefined tasks based solely on its current input and a massive preloaded data set. In education, you'd see reactive AI automating routine administrative tasks like processing forms, maybe handling initial student queries in a basic chatbot where the answers are pulled from a fixed knowledge base. It's not doing dynamic, context-aware reasoning, but it's incredibly efficient for those high-volume, low-complexity interactions.
Okay, efficient but not adaptive. So the third type must be where the real learning happens.
Exactly. And then we get to predictive AI, which represents a much more advanced application. This form employs sophisticated statistical algorithms to not just analyze historical data, but to identify complex patterns within it, and then, crucially, forecast future events with often remarkable accuracy.
Okay, now that sounds like a game changer.
It really is. In education, predictive AI is what powers truly personalized learning experiences. It anticipates a student's next conceptual hurdle or suggests the optimal learning resource for them right now. Even more crucially, perhaps, it can proactively identify students who are at risk, maybe risk of disengagement or even dropping out. It does this by analyzing subtle shifts in their performance data or their attendance patterns, enabling targeted and timely interventions before problems escalate.
Wow. Okay, so it's looking ahead, not just reporting the past.
Exactly. Now, what's truly significant here, and often overlooked, I think, is how organizations like UNESCO, the UN's educational, scientific, and cultural arm, critically distinguish AI from conventional information and communication technologies, or ICTs. They assert that AI's potential to profoundly reshape societies, economies, and especially education systems is fundamentally unique. It's not just another tool.
How so? What's the core difference?
Unlike, say, a simple computer or the internet, AI presents distinct ethical and social challenges that demand entirely new frameworks. We're not talking about just updating old policies. We're talking about ensuring fairness in algorithmic decision-making, demanding transparency in how AI arrives at its conclusions, the black box problem, safeguarding the privacy of incredibly sensitive student data, and establishing clear accountability for AI system outcomes. Who's responsible when it goes wrong?
Those are big questions.
Huge. What's more, AI's unique ability to mimic human-like cognition directly impacts human agency, that very sense of control and autonomy individuals possess. These specific challenges mean we need dedicated competencies that extend far beyond traditional digital literacy. It's not just about knowing how to use the tech. This is precisely why UNESCO is actively developing entirely new AI competency frameworks, specifically tailored to navigate these complex nuances and ensure that human values remain at the core of AI's educational integration.
That immediately highlights a crucial difference, doesn't it? It's not just about what AI is technically, but what it does to the very ecosystem of learning. So beyond those definitions, how is AI truly transforming the educational experience and maybe even forcing us to rethink the very purpose of education itself?
Precisely. The rapid advancement of AI isn't just an evolutionary step. It feels much more like a revolutionary force. It's profoundly influencing students' academic development across both general and higher education. And it presents this really complex interplay of unprecedented opportunities and, let's be honest, significant challenges. The transformative power, I think, lies in its capacity to deliver deeply personalized learning experiences and intelligent tutoring systems. These systems can offer genuinely tailored guidance, support, and feedback, precisely calibrated to an individual's unique learning patterns, their current knowledge levels, and even their preferred ways of learning.
That level of individual attention, that's something that's historically been very hard to scale, right?
Exactly. It was once the exclusive domain of expensive one-on-one tutoring or maybe very small, privileged classrooms. AI potentially democratizes that. And the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, they amplify this perspective. They emphasize that as AI and robotics capabilities continue their rapid evolution, fundamentally altering how humans perform tasks, education systems must proactively reassess the competencies required for life and work in this new context.
So we need to prepare students differently.
Yes, and these anticipated changes aren't just incremental tweaks. They are significant, and they're happening fast. This forces policymakers to look beyond mere adjustments to existing curricula. We're talking about a fundamental rethinking of core questions, questions around curriculum emphasis and what truly constitutes essential skills in an AI-augmented world. It's really a call to redefine foundational literacy for the 21st century.
And that UNESCO distinction you mentioned earlier between AI and older tech.
Yeah. It's not merely academic. It carries profound pedagogical and systemic implications. When UNESCO highlights AI's unique ethical and social challenges, it's not just a warning flare. It's a signal that the transformation isn't simply about adopting a new tool. It necessitates that fundamental reevaluation of what skills are truly necessary for students and how teachers should operate in this new environment. The very need for those dedicated AI competency frameworks underscores a crucial shift towards critical thinking, ethical considerations, and responsible use.
So it elevates AI.
It elevates AI from being a mere technological enhancement to becoming a genuine catalyst for rethinking the very purpose and structure of education as a whole. It's forcing us to ask, if AI can now handle so many cognitive tasks, what then becomes the unique contribution and value of human intelligence in the learning process?
Right, that's the core question.
And this transformative potential compels a deeper, almost philosophical reevaluation of the entire educational paradigm. We're moving beyond simply chasing efficiency gains, though those are important toward a profound inquiry into the very nature of learning itself. AI's capacity to personalize learning and automate tasks clearly points to a shift in how education is delivered, and more critically, what skills are ultimately prioritized. The OECD's observations about the speed and depth of AI's impact suggest that the core questions for policymakers extend far beyond just how do we integrate AI. They delve into what should students learn, and even more profoundly, what truly is the purpose of education when AI can perform a vast array of cognitive tasks that were once exclusively human domains.
That's fascinating. So it pushes us away from just delivering content.
It really indicates a fundamental shift away from that traditional content delivery model where the teacher primarily transmits information, towards one focused on truly adaptive learning, the critical evaluation of AI outputs, which is a skill in itself, and most importantly, the intentional development of uniquely human skills. The real transformation lies in AI enabling educators to prioritize and cultivate these essential human attributes: complex problem solving, nuanced social emotional competencies, advanced technology proficiency, sharp critical thinking, and of course, authentic creativity.
Because AI can handle the routine stuff.
Exactly. These are the skills that are increasingly vital for future work and life, precisely because AI is now taking over more routine, lower-order cognitive tasks.
That immediately makes me think. If AI can handle so many cognitive tasks, what does that mean for what students should learn, and what is the true purpose of education in this new landscape? This is where it gets really compelling. It seems AI is pushing us to focus intensely on what truly makes us human in the learning process. That emphasis on uniquely human skills makes so much sense when AI can handle so much of the data processing and rote work. It's quite a paradigm shift.
Speaking of personalized learning, that's one of the biggest buzzwords, maybe the biggest, in AI. How exactly does AI power that, and what's the tangible impact on students? What does it actually look like?
Personalized learning is indeed a cornerstone of AI's transformative influence, absolutely. And it's truly revolutionized by AI's ability to tailor educational content to each student's unique learning style and pace. It's not just a buzzword, there's real substance there.
Yep.
Consider platforms like, say, Dreambox Learning or Prodigy Math. These aren't just digital textbooks or worksheets. They exemplify adaptive learning by adjusting lessons in real time based on individual student performance. They dynamically adapt difficulty and pacing. So if I'm struggling, it slows down or offers a different approach.
Precisely. Or if you're flying through it, it ramps up the challenge. This continuous, immediate adaptation ensures students are consistently engaged and challenged at precisely their optimal level. It allows them to master concepts at their own speed rather than being rushed along, or conversely, getting bored waiting for the rest of the class.
It's like having an infinitely patient, always available tutor, in a way.
That's a great analogy. And a core mechanism enabling this precision is comprehensive student profiling. AI systems analyze extensive, granular student data, and this goes far beyond just test scores. We're talking detailed interactions. They construct incredibly detailed learner profiles by tracking specific factors like preferred learning modalities, whether a student thrives with visual aids, auditory instruction, or hands-on activities.
So it learns how I learn best.
It tries to, yes. These sophisticated profiles don't just categorize, they precisely identify knowledge gaps, track completion rates, and even analyze common error patterns across different subjects or concepts. This deep insight allows the AI to adjust the difficulty and pacing of educational materials with remarkable precision, delivering the right content at the right time in the right format for each individual.
Okay, that makes sense. What else makes personalization work?
And then real-time feedback becomes an absolutely critical component. For students to stay aligned with their learning objectives and make continuous progress, feedback is key. AI platforms provide instant, individualized feedback that goes far beyond a simple right or wrong check mark. When a learner struggles with a concept or makes a specific type of error, the system can immediately identify the underlying issue and then offer targeted additional resources, maybe alternative explanations, or even different approaches to understanding the material.
So it doesn't just say try again, it gives you a path forward.
Ideally, yes. This immediate, tailored response directly addresses each student's specific strengths and weaknesses. And as you said earlier, this level of personalized instruction was once primarily available only through private tutors or in very small, exclusive classes. What's more, these automated feedback tools also provide invaluable aggregate insights back to the educators themselves, helping them refine their teaching practices based on common sticking points or misunderstandings across the class.
Okay, so the theory sounds great, but what about the actual impact? Are we seeing results?
We are. The impact of AI-driven personalized learning on academic outcomes has been, frankly, profoundly positive and quantitatively significant in many studies. Research indicates that students engaging with these programs consistently show a statistically significant improvement in grades compared to traditional learning groups. They also exhibit more consistent and sustained performance over time. Beyond just anecdotal evidence, studies have shown students in personalized learning programs scoring up to 30% higher on standardized tests and achieving notable improvements in foundational areas like math and reading scores.
30% higher, that's substantial.
It is, and there are specific examples. Squirrel AI in China has reported up to 30% better academic performance across its student base. Carnegie Learning in the U.S. has documented significant improvements in math scores with their AI-powered tools like Mika. These aren't isolated cases.
And beyond grades, does it affect how students feel about learning?
That's another crucial piece. Personalized learning environments substantially boost student motivation. The engagement factor is huge. Studies show a dramatic difference. Something like 75% of students report feeling engaged in AI-driven personalized settings, compared to maybe only 30% in traditional one-size-fits-all settings.
Wow, more than double. Why such a big difference?
Well, because AI-powered tools, whether they are gamified learning platforms, highly interactive tutorials, or responsive virtual assistants, create dynamic and personalized learning experiences. They constantly adapt to each student's current skill level. This responsiveness keeps them motivated and deeply invested. It feels relevant to them. And that real-time feedback we discussed, it further enhances engagement by fostering a strong sense of accomplishment and encouraging continuous improvement. You see progress immediately.
Right, you're not waiting weeks for a test result.
Exactly. In fact, the implementation of personalized learning strategies has been linked to tangible improvements in broader school metrics, too. Things like a 12% increase in attendance and even a 15% drop in dropout rates in some studies.
That's huge. Attendance and dropout rates, those are major indicators.
They really are. And these consistently high statistics on student engagement and academic performance aren't accidental. They're not just noise. They indicate that this approach effectively taps into fundamental cognitive and motivational principles. It creates a powerful positive feedback loop. When learning is optimally challenging, meaning it's neither too easy nor too difficult, that Goldilocks zone and students receive immediate, actionable feedback. It can actually stimulate the brain's reward system.
Like dopamine.
Potentially, yes.
Right.
It boosts intrinsic motivation. This fosters a sense of self-efficacy, I can do this, and ownership over their learning, which leads to a virtuous cycle. Increased engagement, more perseverance when things get tough, and ultimately improved academic outcomes. This suggests that AI's real strength lies in its capacity to scale highly effective, individualized pedagogical approaches that were previously just incredibly resource-intensive and often limited to that one-on-one tutoring model we talked about.
It breaks down the one-size-fits-all problem.
It really does. Furthermore, these documented improvements suggest that AI-driven personalization could significantly reduce that long-standing limitation so prevalent in traditional education. Conventional classrooms often struggle to cater effectively to diverse learning styles and paces. It's almost impossible for one teacher to do perfectly for 30 kids, which inevitably leads to some students falling behind or becoming disengaged because the curriculum moves too fast or too slow for them. AI's ability to dynamically adapt content and difficulty means it can bridge these gaps. It can provide precise additional support where needed for struggling learners,
While also challenging the ones who are ready for more.
Exactly. Accelerating advanced students who are ready for more complex challenges. This implies that personalized learning, enabled by AI, offers a powerful pathway to advancing educational equity. By ensuring that every student receives an optimal learning experience, regardless of their initial proficiency level or preferred learning style, it presents a tangible means to minimize disparities in learning outcomes. Even as we acknowledge, and this is important, that access to the underlying technology itself remains a critical challenge for equity.
Right, the tools are great, but only if you can access them.
Precisely. But the potential for equity within the learning process itself is significant.
Okay, so what does this look like in practice? Can you give us some examples of the actual platforms or tools schools might be using?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A growing number of AI-driven platforms are transforming personalized learning across various educational contexts. They leverage machine learning, natural language processing, predictive analytics, all the good stuff, to create these highly adaptive and responsive learning environments. Within the realm of adaptive learning systems, you'll find leaders like Dreambox Learning and Smart Sparrow. They analyze student responses and learning patterns to dynamically adapt lessons, ensuring students are always right at their optimal learning frontier. Prodigy Math is another excellent example, widely used, adjusting lesson difficulty and pacing in real time based on student responses in a game-like environment.
Kids seem to love that one.
They do. Then there are platforms like Squirrel AI, which we mentioned, and Quarium that continuously adapt lessons based on real-time performance metrics, keeping students engaged and challenged at precisely the right level. Newton, too, adaptively guides students, allowing them to master complex subjects at their own pace. And it's not just specialized platforms anymore. Even broader learning management systems, the LMSs schools already use, like Absorb LMS and Docebo, alongside others like Sana, 360 Learning, Cornerstone, Continue, Seismic Learning, and Agreed. They're all integrating sophisticated AI features.
Like what kind of features?
Things like smart course recommendations based on your past performance or stated goals, skill gap identification based on performance data, and even adaptive search results within the platform to help you find the most relevant resources quickly. They provide hyper-personalized, data-driven learning experiences right within the main system.
Okay, so the LMS is getting smarter too. What else?
Then we have intelligent tutoring systems, or ITS. These are specifically designed to provide tailored one-on-one instruction and feedback that really tries to mirror a human tutor. Conmigo by Khan Academy is a great example. It acts as an AI-powered tutor and teaching assistant. It engages students in Socratic dialogue, asks thoughtful questions, and provides hints almost like a real human tutor would, guiding them to the answer rather than just giving it.
So it encourages thinking, not just answers.
That's the goal. Carnegie Learning's Mika software also provides personalized tutoring and real-time feedback, particularly popular in post-secondary education. Thinkster is another platform offering intelligent tutoring and guidance. These systems effectively model one-on-one interactions, detecting student competency and deficiency with remarkable accuracy to offer incredibly tailored help when a student gets stuck.
Interesting. What about specific subjects like languages?
Yeah, in language learning tools, innovators like Duolingo and Babbel leverage natural language processing, or NLP, and adaptive algorithms to personalize language lessons. This includes sophisticated things like accent recognition, giving you feedback on your pronunciation, and context-based vocabulary exercises that adapt as you learn new words and grammar. Duolingo's Bird Brain AI, as they call it, specifically ensures tailored experiences matching skill levels, and their premium tier integrates advanced language models for detailed explanations of grammar rules and even realistic role-play scenarios to practice conversation.
Role-playing with an AI. That's pretty cool.
It makes language acquisition far more interactive and effective than just flashcards, right?
Definitely. Any other categories?
And finally, AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants offer round-the-clock learning support. Think about student questions that come up at 10 p.m. Tools such as Mainstay provide students with immediate assistance outside classroom hours, answering common questions, reminding them of deadlines, and guiding them through administrative processes like registration or financial aid queries. Upskillist has tools like Compass AI and Pathfinder that assess skills, track progress, recommend courses tied to career objectives, and deliver tailored content on demand. These AI agents can automate and resolve a high percentage of routine student queries, which in turn frees up human staff advisors, support staff to focus on the more complex, empathetic, and human-centric interactions that really require their expertise.
Okay, so there's a huge variety of tools out there. Adaptive systems, tutors, language tools, chatbots.
Yes, and while this sheer proliferation of diverse AI platforms indicates a rapidly maturing market for AI in education, which is exciting, it also hints at a significant challenge for educational institutions: potential fragmentation and integration complexities.
Meaning schools end up with lots of different systems that don't talk to each other.
Potentially, yes. This wide variety certainly offers schools many options to address different learning needs, but the sheer number and specialized nature of these platforms could lead to a fragmented ecosystem. Schools might struggle with interoperability between disparate systems, which could lead to siloed data, math data over here, reading data over there, chatbot interactions somewhere else.
Making it hard to get a full picture of the student?
Exactly. An inability to gain a holistic, comprehensive view of a student's entire learning journey across various subjects or tools. And that could, in turn, hinder the promise of truly comprehensive personalized learning, which relies on that holistic view. This fragmentation implies a pressing future need for standardization and robust integration frameworks within the AI market. We need these tools to work together better. Without these, schools may face significant technical debt trying to maintain all these systems, major data management complexities, and ultimately, an inability to fully leverage AI's potential across the entire curriculum to deliver a seamless, unified learning experience.
That's a critical point. So what does this all mean for a school trying to figure out which AI tools to adopt? It sounds like there's an immense opportunity, but also a complex puzzle to solve, especially with all these different platforms potentially creating data silos. And I'm curious, does AI's impact stop at individual student personalization, or are we seeing it reshape the entire operational backbone of schools and classrooms? Is it bigger than just the student-tool interaction?
You've hit on a vital shift. AI's influence truly spans far beyond just personalized learning. It touches virtually every facet of education, from streamlining operational processes to fostering novel and immersive learning modalities. It's much broader. Let's delve into how it's enhancing teaching and administrative efficiency first, because that's a huge area.
Okay, less paperwork, more teaching.
That's the promise. AI-powered tools are dramatically expediting the assessment process. This is a massive time saver for educators, directly freeing them to dedicate more time to personalized learning and direct student interaction. Consider a platform like Grainscope. It automatically evaluates assignments, multiple choice, short answers, even coding, and provides detailed, consistent feedback based on rubrics the teacher sets up. This substantially reduces the administrative burden.
So faster grading, basically.
Faster and potentially more consistent. AI enhances different types of assessments. It offers instant scoring and data analysis for multiple choice questions, performs sophisticated language analysis, and suggests nuanced feedback for written essays, and even provides step-by-step solution verification for complex math problems, all while ensuring consistent and accurate grading at scale. And this level of automation directly serves that explicit goal we talked about, freeing teachers, administrators, and staff for higher engagement activities.
Okay, grading's a big one. What about planning lessons?
AI also plays a crucial role in aiding instructors in content creation. Tools like Magic School AI and Eduaid.ai are really starting to revolutionize lesson planning, assessment creation, and even the drafting of individualized education plans, or IEPs, which can be incredibly time-consuming. AI can generate presentation outlines, compose creative writing examples to use as models, and develop differentiated instruction materials that are tailored to various learning styles or cognitive levels within the same classroom. It can also help teachers create engaging visual aids for vocabulary instruction and plan dynamic math lessons, making preparation far more efficient and, ideally, more tailored to diverse student needs.
And the admin side. Scheduling, attendance.
Oh, yeah. The widespread automation of administrative tasks represents more than just efficiency gains. It indicates a strategic reallocation of human capital within the educational system. It's about shifting where people spend their time. AI automates tasks like attendance taking, optimizes complex timetabling and scheduling across multiple classes and resources, which is a nightmare to do, manually manages classroom logistics, and handles resource allocation with unprecedented precision. It also streamlines student enrollment and admissions management, predicting enrollment trends with greater accuracy and drastically streamlining paperwork. Think about processing applications.
That's a huge load off administrators.
Absolutely. Furthermore, AI can automate compliance reporting and accreditation processes, identify crucial funding opportunities through grant databases, and support sophisticated financial planning by accurately forecasting budget needs. Even AI writing assistants serve as invaluable editing partners for crafting newsletters, policy documents, and student feedback, allowing administrators to focus on the actual content and strategy rather than endless revisions and proofreading. The explicit goal of all this automation is, again, to free teachers, administrators, and staff for higher engagement activities and to allow them to focus on meaningful interactions with students.
So it implies a shift in roles.
Definitely. It implies a strategic shift in the core responsibilities and value proposition of educational professionals. Their role evolves from performing clerical and repetitive duties to focusing on complex pedagogical, relational, and strategic tasks that truly leverage their unique human expertise, empathy, and judgment aspects that AI simply cannot replicate.
That's a compelling vision of efficiency. But it also raises a really important question. While AI can generate content rapidly, what about the quality and pedagogical alignment of those outputs? How do we ensure they're not just fast, but genuinely effective? Are we just making bad lessons faster?
Yeah, that is an astute point and a critical one. While AI can indeed generate content and lesson plans rapidly, there's a crucial caution regarding the quality and pedagogical alignment of those AI-generated outputs. You hit the nail on the head. Research explicitly warns that if AI-generated plans don't incorporate evidence-based instructional practices, they merely generate subpar lessons more quickly. Speed isn't the only goal.
Right. Garbage in, garbage out, essentially.
Exactly. This highlights that while AI is an incredibly powerful tool for content creation, human pedagogical expertise remains absolutely paramount for ensuring the quality, the relevance, and the alignment of materials with sound educational principles and specific learning objectives. This demands a critical need for advanced AI literacy among educators, extending beyond mere operational proficiency. Just knowing how to use the tool isn't enough. Teachers must develop the discernment to critically evaluate AI-generated content, refine it, and integrate it thoughtfully within a robust pedagogical framework rather than passively accepting its output.
So the teacher becomes more of a curator or editor?
Precisely. This truly transforms the teacher's role from a primary content creator to a more sophisticated content curator, critical evaluator, and instructional designer who leverages AI to amplify their expertise, not replace it.
Okay, that makes sense. Moving beyond efficiency then, how is AI impacting accessibility and inclusivity? That seems like a huge potential benefit.
It really is. AI-powered platforms are making profound strides in improving accessibility and inclusivity, aiming to truly level the educational playing field for all students. AI solutions, such as real-time language translation and speech-to-text transcription, make learning far more accessible for students with disabilities or language barriers. They break down communication obstacles right there in the classroom. Tools like Microsoft's Immersive Reader specifically assist learners with reading difficulties by breaking down complex text into manageable segments, simplifying grammar, and providing visual support like line focus or text spacing options.
I've seen that one. Is pretty impressive.
It is, and AI tools like Dissolve can even help detect dyslexia and other learning disabilities early by analyzing reading patterns and errors, providing tailored support and interventions that were previously very difficult to scale and required extensive, specialized human observation. Early detection is key.
Wow. What about bridging the digital divide or reaching students who aren't physically in the classroom?
AI is also making significant strides there. By expanding internet access, though that's an infrastructure issue too, and providing personalized adaptive learning platforms that cater to individual student needs regardless of their geographic location or socioeconomic background. For instance, platforms like Khan Academy utilize AI to recommend content tailored to each learner's pace and knowledge gaps, making high-quality instruction available globally. Translation software like Google Translate breaks down language barriers, enabling global access to educational resources that were once completely out of reach for many. And think about students who might be unable to attend school due to illness, or those in remote areas who need learning at a different level or on a particular subject not readily available in their local school. AI can create access for them.
So the goal is equal opportunity.
The overarching goal here is to ensure that all students have truly equal opportunities in education, irrespective of their social class, race, gender, ethnic background, or physical and mental disabilities. That's the promise.
But there's always a but, isn't there? How does the reality match up, especially with access issues?
Yes, there is a but. If we connect this to the bigger picture, AI's actual impact on equity is profoundly constrained by underlying infrastructure and socioeconomic disparities. It's not magic. While AI offers powerful solutions for accessibility and bridging the digital divide, research explicitly notes that lack of access to devices and high implementation costs are significant barriers. We can't ignore that. If students lack basic internet connectivity or suitable devices, the most sophisticated AI solutions remain entirely inaccessible. And in that scenario, AI could potentially widen the existing digital divide rather than closing it. The rich get richer, technologically speaking.
So the tech alone isn't enough.
Definitely not. This implies that AI's promise for equity cannot be realized by technology alone. It necessitates substantial policy interventions and robust public-private partnerships to ensure foundational infrastructure like broadband access and truly affordable access for everyone. The tech can solve the pedagogical gap, potentially, but not the socioeconomic one without external support.
All right. Okay, shifting gears slightly, what about creativity? We often think of AI as analytical, maybe not creative.
That's a common perception, but AI has a surprising potential to bolster students' creativity and problem-solving skills, particularly through collaborative interactions with AI systems. It's not just about computation. Emerging research indicates that AI can actually enhance skills commonly associated with creativity, such as curiosity, perseverance, and attentiveness in a learning context. Even experienced teachers acknowledge AI's potential to enhance creativity, emphasizing that AI in education should aim to foster problem-solving and creativity rather than solely focusing on knowledge acquisition or recall.
So how does that work? How can AI help someone be more creative?
Well, it moves beyond viewing AI as a mere content generator to seeing it as a creative partner, or maybe even a thought amplifier. AI can provide diverse perspectives you hadn't considered, generate initial ideas to get you unstuck, or handle the more mundane aspects of creative tasks like generating foundational content for a design project or summarizing research. This frees up human cognitive resources for higher-level creative synthesis, critical refinement, and making those unique human connections.
So it's a collaborator, not just a tool.
That's the idea. This implies that future educational approaches should explicitly teach students how to collaborate with AI in creative endeavors, rather than simply consuming its outputs passively, fostering a new form of human-AI synergy in creative processes.
That's a truly exciting prospect, moving beyond just facts and figures.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets really interesting. AI is now bringing learning to life through truly immersive experiences. How is that happening?
Absolutely. This is where things get visually and interactively compelling. Computer vision technology, which is a subfield of AI, is powering augmented reality, or AR, and virtual reality, or VR, tools that make learning significantly more immersive and engaging.
Taking us beyond the screen.
Exactly. These technologies are especially useful for subjects requiring visual or hands-on approaches. Imagine students being able to conduct virtual chemistry experiments safely in a simulated lab without risk of explosion.
Safer and cheaper, probably.
Safer, cheaper, and repeatable. Or imagine walking through historical landmarks around the world right from their desks, or exploring complex ideas like human anatomy in 3D rotating models, peeling back layers, all while receiving instant interactive feedback from the system. These experiences engage multiple senses, making it significantly easier to understand and remember challenging concepts by truly bringing them to life.
Any examples of platforms doing this?
Sure. There are virtual labs like Labster, which provide safe, repeatable exploration of scientific concepts across biology, chemistry, physics. And there were virtual tour platforms like Google Expeditions. Though that specific one was discontinued, the concept remains powerful for broadening cultural understanding and historical context through immersive field trips.
Okay. And beyond AR, VR, is AI making standard screen-based learning more engaging too?
Yes, definitely. Beyond AR/VR, AI also makes learning more interactive and engaging through gamified content and adaptive learning platforms. We touched on this with personalization, but the engagement factor is key. Programs like Kahoot use AI elements to create interactive quizzes that adapt to student responses, keeping the energy high. Platforms like Minecraft Education Edition use AI to create simulations and collaborative building challenges that respond dynamically to student input, keeping learners motivated and deeply involved in problem solving. Classcraft, for example, uses AI principles to gamify classroom management itself, tracking student behavior and rewarding positive actions, which helps maintain a productive and motivated classroom environment by turning daily tasks and good behavior into a kind of game.
Turning learning into a game. Always popular. Okay, one more application area.
Lastly in this section, and this ties back to some earlier points, AI is revolutionizing student support through predictive analytics. Predictive AI leverages its ability to analyze complex data patterns humans might miss to forecast future events, like identifying students who may be at risk of dropping out or failing a course before it actually happens.
The crystal ball of education data.
Sort of, yeah. AI systems analyze various data points, engagement levels in the LMS, assignment completion rates, specific error patterns on quizzes to predict potential academic challenges with increasing accuracy. This early detection capability allows teachers and administrators to intervene proactively and provide necessary support precisely when it's needed, hopefully preventing problems from escalating into full-blown crises.
That's incredibly powerful. Shifting from reaction to proactive support.
It is. And beyond just academic performance, AI-driven analytics tools empower educators to gain deeper insights into students' broader trajectories, helping identify at-risk individuals, not just academically, but maybe in terms of disengagement or potential emotional struggles flagged by changes in behavior patterns online. This allows for timely interventions to foster resilience, motivation, and overall emotional well-being, not just grades. This capability fundamentally shifts educational intervention from a reactive model waiting for a student to fail to a proactive model. It transforms student support strategies.
Moving upstream, essentially.
Exactly. It allows educational institutions to move away from waiting for students to fail or drop out before offering support. Instead, AI facilitates a preventative approach, enabling targeted interventions and personalized support before issues become significant obstacles. This implies a more efficient allocation of human resources for support services, counselors, tutors, and a potential reduction in overall student attrition, leading to improved academic success rates and overall student well-being. It also reframes the teacher's role, again, into a data-informed decision-maker and a more targeted intervener, optimizing that precious human element for those who need it most, when they need it most.
Okay, the potential benefits are clearly immense. Personalized learning, efficiency, accessibility, engagement, proactive support. It's a compelling list. But AI, as we know, isn't a silver bullet. It never is. So while it offers incredible opportunities, it's not without its complexities and, frankly, ethical tightropes.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest hurdles we absolutely need to navigate as we integrate this technology into our schools? Where are the pitfalls?
You're right to bring up the challenges. It's crucial we don't get swept away by the hype without considering the downsides. While AI offers unprecedented opportunities, its integration demands proactive attention to significant complexities and ethical considerations to ensure responsible and equitable implementation. First, let's talk about data privacy and security risks. This is probably top of mind for many people. AI systems in education are heavily reliant on collecting and analyzing vast amounts of sensitive data about students and educators. We're talking academic records, detailed behavioral patterns from online interactions, sometimes even inferred emotional states, online activities, attendance records, and in some cases even biometric data for things like test proctoring.
That's a lot of sensitive data.
It's a huge amount, and this extensive data collection raises significant concerns about how this private information is stored, who gets to access it, and the potential ways it may be used or even abused in the future, maybe for purposes never intended.
What are the specific risks we should worry about?
Well, the most obvious are data breaches. We've seen instances like the ProctorU incident a few years back, where hundreds of thousands of student records were leaked online. That's a nightmare scenario. There's also the potential for data exploitation, where data collected for, say, improving learning outcomes might be repurposed for commercial profiling or targeted advertising, or worse. This can also create a pervasive sense of constant surveillance among students, which can really erode trust and inhibit free expression and honest engagement. Do students feel safe asking dumb questions if everything is logged? Furthermore, educators themselves, often without adequate training, can inadvertently enter identifiable student data into publicly available AI models, like pasting student writing into a public chatbot for feedback, putting that student's information at risk without even realizing the implications.
Oof, yeah. So how do we manage this? How do we get the benefits without sacrificing privacy?
It's a balancing act, for sure. To strike that balance, educational institutions must prioritize transparency above all else. They need to be crystal clear about what data is collected, why it's collected, and exactly how it's used and protected. They must employ robust encryption techniques to protect data, both when it's stored and when it's being transmitted. Leverage data anonymization techniques whenever possible to strip away personally identifiable information and ensure that users, students, parents, teachers have meaningful control over their own data through clear, understandable consent mechanisms, not just burying it in fine print. Explicit approval from students and parents is key, especially for minors. Regular audits of AI systems and data handling processes are needed, and strict compliance with regulations like FERPA in the US and COPPA for children's online privacy are absolutely essential baseline requirements.
It sounds like a huge undertaking.
It is, and this represents a fundamental ethical dilemma, not merely a technical hurdle to overcome with better security. Because maximizing AI's benefits and tailoring education often directly increases the volume and sensitivity of data collected. The more personalized you want it, the more data the AI needs. This amplifies the potential for misuse, breaches, and surveillance. There's often a direct trade-off between the depth of personalization and the breadth of data privacy.
So more data means more risk.
Exactly. This necessitates broader societal and ethical discourse, not just decisions made by tech companies or school districts alone. And it requires comprehensive regulatory frameworks that don't just offer technical fixes, but truly define acceptable levels of data collection and usage in educational contexts, carefully weighing the benefits against the risks to student autonomy and privacy.
Okay, privacy's huge. What's another major challenge?
Another major challenge is addressing algorithmic bias and ensuring equity. This ties back to our earlier discussion on equity, but from the risk perspective. AI systems, if not carefully designed, trained, and continuously tested, can unintentionally reinforce existing societal biases. Algorithmic bias refers to this systematic and unfair skewing of outcomes. It often reflects or even amplifies existing societal prejudices that are embedded in the data they are trained on. If historical data shows certain groups underperforming, the AI might learn that pattern as normal or predictive.
How does the bias creep in?
It can arise from unrepresentative or imbalanced training data, maybe data collected primarily from affluent schools. It can come from flawed algorithmic design choices made by developers, or even from the inadvertent introduction of human assumptions and biases during the development and implementation process.
But what's the impact on students?
The impact can be significant and deeply unfair. It can directly influence students' educational trajectories and potentially create new forms of systemic barriers that are harder to see because they're hidden inside the code. For example, automated essay scoring, or AES, systems have shown biases related to students' gender, race, and socioeconomic status and how they grade essays, potentially disadvantaging certain groups whose writing styles differ from the norm the AI was trained on.
So it might grade based on patterns, not just quality.
It can, yes. And this bias can extend to various educational technologies, potentially affecting students based on race, ethnicity, gender, nationality, socioeconomic status, disability, even military-connected status. It could influence critical decisions about things like course recommendations or placements, automatic grading, career counseling suggestions, and even access to remedial or advanced support services.
Wow, and the digital divide makes this worse.
Absolutely. Beyond the bias in the algorithms, educational equity is profoundly challenged by the persistent digital divide we already discussed. Not all students and schools have equal access to the AI technology itself, or the necessary infrastructure, reliable internet, suitable devices. This disparity can exacerbate existing educational inequalities, causing already advantaged students who have access to these powerful tools to pull even further ahead while others fall further behind. A lack of adequate training for educators on how to effectively and equitably leverage AI tools also perpetuates this skills gap and inequality across different institutions and communities.
So how do we fight this bias? What's the solution?
Addressing these issues requires a truly comprehensive, multi-pronged approach. It's not easy. This includes prioritizing diverse data collection practices to ensure AI models are trained on datasets that actually represent the full diversity of the student population. It requires rigorous bias testing using clear fairness metrics before deployment and ongoing monitoring afterwards. Consistent human oversight in critical AI decisions is crucial. We can't just let the algorithm decide everything. We need the application of sophisticated algorithmic fairness techniques, technical methods designed to specifically mitigate identified biases, and transparency and accountability in AI decision-making processes are absolutely key. We need to know how decisions are being made.
And institutionally.
Institutions must actively work to address the digital divide through policy and investment. They need to regularly evaluate AI tools for inherent biases before adopting them. They must integrate AI education and ethical instruction into curriculum planning for students, and provide faculty with ongoing AI training that includes bias awareness. Policies should be established with fairness, ethics, and equality as core, non-negotiable principles, creating strict guidelines for AI development and deployment in their specific context.
It sounds like a continuous effort, not a one-time fix.
Exactly. Algorithmic bias is not merely a technical bug you can patch. It's a profound socio-technical challenge, reflecting and often amplifying existing societal inequities. And the often black box nature of some complex AI models makes identifying these biases particularly challenging. It requires continuous, proactive, and interdisciplinary effort involving educators, technologists, ethicists, and affected communities to audit and mitigate bias throughout the entire AI lifecycle.
Okay, privacy and bias. What else keeps educators up at night?
A third significant concern is the risk of over-reliance and its potential impact on critical thinking. This is a pedagogical concern at its heart. There's a growing dependence on technology generally, and AI in education could certainly foster that further. As students increasingly rely on AI systems to provide immediate answers and solutions just asking the chatbot instead of working through the problem,
They might not learn how to think for themselves.
that's the fear. There's a clear risk of becoming overly dependent on these technologies, which could diminish the intentional development of crucial critical thinking skills, complex problem-solving abilities, and even intellectual resilience, the ability to struggle with a hard problem. Over-reliance on AI for assessment and feedback might also inadvertently reduce opportunities for meaningful dialogue, debate, and deep reflection between students and teachers, or among students themselves. Those conversations are absolutely essential for fostering higher-order thinking and a nuanced understanding of complex concepts.
And academic integrity. Cheating using AI.
That's a huge part of this concern, too. AI presents new and significant challenges to academic integrity. Tools capable of generating sophisticated human-like text raise serious concerns about plagiarism and the authenticity of student work. Is it their writing or the AI's? Advanced AI tools can potentially be exploited by students to bypass traditional academic integrity measures. And in a worrying twist, AI-powered plagiarism detection systems may even be outsmarted by highly sophisticated AI-generated content, creating this ongoing technological arms race between detection and generation tools.
So how do we counter that? How do we ensure students are still learning?
To counter these risks, students must be educated to apply critical thinking rigorously, not just to the subject matter, but to the AI tools themselves. They need to evaluate the accuracy and relevance of AI-generated information rather than just taking it at face value as truth. They need to take explicit responsibility for verifying facts, understanding the sources the AI might be drawing from or hallucinating, and synthesizing information independently. Educators, in turn, need to teach students how AI actually works, its true capabilities, and its inherent limitations, including its potential for bias and inaccuracy, and promote ethical AI use in their studies. Clear, institution-wide policies on AI usage must be established to guide students on ethical engagement while unequivocally fostering original work and intellectual honesty. Maybe assignments need to change, too, focusing less on easily automated tasks.
It points to a need to rethink assessment.
It really does. This points to a fundamental pedagogical challenge: how to leverage AI's incredible efficiency without undermining core learning objectives. If AI performs tasks that traditionally built critical thinking, like summarizing texts or drafting arguments, educators must intentionally redesign learning experiences to ensure students still develop these essential skills. Perhaps by focusing on higher-order tasks that require human judgment, creativity, ethical reasoning, synthesis across multiple AI-generated sources, or application in novel contexts.
Makes sense. One last big challenge area.
Finally, and this is perhaps the most fundamental, we must talk about maintaining the essential human element. This underpins everything. Despite AI's incredible capabilities in processing information and automating tasks, it simply cannot replicate the irreplaceable human interaction, the profound emotional support, the empathy, the true creativity born from experience, and the nuanced understanding that human teachers provide. That connection matters.
The art of teaching, not just the science.
Exactly. There are valid concerns that an over-reliance on AI, even if efficient and effective in some ways, could erode the vital teacher-student relationship and diminish the crucial social skills students develop through direct human interaction in the classroom, collaborative group work, navigating disagreements, learning empathy, the human aspect of teaching things like offering genuine emotional support, building meaningful, trusting relationships with students, inspiring intrinsic curiosity through passion, acting as a true mentor and role model remains absolutely essential to student well-being and long-term success. These are qualities that AI, at least as we know it, simply cannot replicate.
So AI should be a tool, not a replacement.
That's the consistent emphasis here across all these challenges. AI must complement rather than replace human educators. The future of education, if we get it right, will increasingly value these uniquely human contributions. with AI augmenting human capabilities, taking over some of the drudgery, and freeing teachers to concentrate on the complex, relational, and higher-order pedagogical tasks that leverage their emotional intelligence, their nuanced understanding of individual students, and their ability to foster a genuine love of learning.
So what does this all mean for the people on the front lines, for the teachers, the students, the administrators? It sounds like we're really talking about a complete redefinition of what it means to be each of those things in an AI-powered world. How are those roles actually adapting within this evolving ecosystem? What changes are happening right now?
You're absolutely right. The integration of AI isn't just changing educational tools or processes. It's fundamentally reshaping the roles and responsibilities of all stakeholders within the learning ecosystem. This evolution demands significant adaptation and a real reimagining of traditional functions for educators, learners, and leaders alike. Let's start with teachers as facilitators, mentors, and co-learners. This is a big shift. As we've discussed, AI significantly frees teachers from many of those time-consuming administrative burdens, the automated grading, attendance tracking, report generation. This liberation of time is precisely what allows educators to concentrate more deeply on the human-centric aspects of their roles, which is what most teachers got into the profession for in the first place.
Right, less paperwork, more people work.
Yeah. Exactly. This means they can build more meaningful relationships with students, observe individual learning processes more closely, noticing the nuances AI might miss, and engage in deeper pedagogical reflection about what truly works for each student and for their class as a whole. The role of teachers is evolving profoundly. They are shifting from being the primary knowledge transmitters, the sage on the stage, a role AI can now automate with frightening efficiency in some ways, to becoming essential facilitators and mentors, the guide on the side.
Guiding students through the learning process.
Yes, guiding students in developing those crucial 21st century skills we talked about, like adaptability, resilience, critical thinking, and creativity. Skills needed to navigate an AI-driven world. In this new landscape, teachers become as much co-learners, co-creators, and co-designers as their students. They're learning alongside them how best to use these new tools. They leverage AI tools to personalize instruction, foster a stronger sense of community within the classroom, maybe by using AI to manage small group work more effectively. AI can serve as a powerful thought partner for teachers too, sparking innovative ideas for engaging lesson plans, helping differentiate assignments to meet diverse needs within a single classroom, and analyzing student data to devise truly adaptive practices and inform impactful teaching strategies.
But teachers still need to assess the higher level stuff.
Absolutely. While AI can assist with objective metrics like grammar checking or factual recall in an essay, teachers remain absolutely essential for assessing the deeper levels. Creativity, critical thinking, the nuanced application of knowledge in new situations. They maintain the integrity of assessments through their critical review of any AI-generated feedback or scores. They provide the human judgment.
Sounds like a big change in identity for teachers.
It really does. This shift in teacher roles from content deliverer to facilitator, mentor, and co-learner implies a profound transformation in their professional identity. This isn't just a change in tasks, but a fundamental redefinition of the teacher's value proposition. Their expertise shifts from being the sole repository of knowledge to being experts in guiding complex learning processes, fostering higher-order cognitive skills, and navigating nuanced human interactions in an AI-rich environment. And this necessitates significant ongoing professional development in AI literacy, ethical considerations, and new pedagogical strategies for human-AI collaboration. The focus of teacher preparation programs must evolve to equip educators with the skills to effectively leverage AI as an assistant and partner, rather than merely a tool to be used or feared.
Okay, so teachers become guides and facilitators. What about students? How does their role change?
That's equally important. Let's consider student agency, AI literacy, and responsible use. As AI becomes more deeply integrated into education, new responsibilities emerge for students themselves. It's not just passive consumption. They must develop a sophisticated understanding of the ethical implications of using these powerful technologies, learning to leverage them appropriately as tools to enhance their learning, rather than as crutches that bypass genuine effort and understanding. This includes developing those advanced critical thinking skills we keep mentioning, to rigorously evaluate the accuracy, the relevance, and the potential biases of AI-generated information in an age rife with potential misinformation and sophisticated deepfakes. They need to be discerning consumers.
So don't trust everything the chatbot tells you.
Pretty much. Students are now expected to be transparent about their use of AI, properly citing any AI tools used to generate or assist with content. This is crucial for upholding academic honesty and avoiding misconduct, intentional or not. Proactively discussing responsible AI use with instructors is encouraged, maybe even necessary, to clarify expectations and prevent unintentional missteps. What's acceptable use in this class versus that class? A crucial responsibility involves developing awareness around those inherent biases in AI systems and understanding how to potentially mitigate algorithmic bias in any AI-generated content they might incorporate into their own work. Recognizing if the AI's perspective seems skewed. The ultimate principle, though, is that submitted work must still represent the student's own learning, their own thinking, and their own skills. AI should serve to enhance and support that, not replace their effort and authorship.
And organizations like UNESCO are pushing for this.
Yes, UNESCO's human-centered approach to AI in education explicitly encourages students to understand and assert their agency in relation to AI, promoting critical thinking, ethical considerations, and responsible use of these technologies. This includes building comprehensive AI literacy, which involves understanding AI's strengths and its limits, and promoting ethical AI use in all aspects of their academic and future professional lives. It's a foundational skill now.
It sounds like AI literacy is becoming as important as reading literacy.
That's a great way to put it. This truly implies that AI integration in education is not just about providing new tools, but about cultivating a whole new set of future-ready competencies in students. AI literacy becomes as fundamental as traditional literacy, transforming the student's role from potentially a passive recipient of information to an active, discerning, and ethical user of advanced technologies, prepared for a world where AI is simply ubiquitous.
Okay, teachers as guides, students as critical users. What about the administrators, the principals, the district leaders? How does AI change their jobs?
Finally, let's look at administrators. Strategic decision-making and resource optimization. Their role changes significantly too, moving beyond just managing the school day to day. AI significantly enhances administrative efficiency, as we discussed, but it also profoundly supports strategic decision-making within educational institutions. That's the higher level impact. AI can provide school administrators with deeply data-driven insights, enabling smarter, more informed decisions by identifying subtle patterns across the school or district, predicting outcomes like enrollment shifts or budget needs, and suggesting potential solutions to complex problems that might otherwise remain hidden in spreadsheets or take immense human effort to uncover.
So, using data for planning, not just reporting.
Exactly. AI-powered analytics are instrumental in tracking things like attendance, grades, and engagement patterns across the entire student body. This allows administrators to flag systemic issues early or identify schools or groups needing more support and direct resources where they are most needed before problems escalate into crises. Furthermore, AI can optimize resource management, streamlining complex staff schedules, ensuring optimal classroom utilization across buildings, and precisely allocating budgets to maximize impact based on predicted needs or program effectiveness. AI also plays that crucial role in student enrollment and admissions management, helping to predict enrollment trends with greater accuracy and streamline the processing of paperwork, from applications to financial aid allocation.
Making those big operational pieces run smoother.
Yes. And automating compliance reporting for state or federal requirements, supporting accreditation processes, identifying crucial funding opportunities by scanning grant databases, and supporting sophisticated long-term financial planning by forecasting budget needs more accurately. And importantly, those AI assistants or chatbots can automate routine queries from parents or students, freeing human administrative staff to focus on the more complex, personalized issues that really require their unique problem-solving and interpersonal skills.
So the value isn't just saving time, it's about better decisions.
That's the key takeaway. The core value for administrators is not merely automation, though that's helpful. It's the ability of AI to provide those data-driven insights and predictive models that truly inform strategic planning and enable effective early intervention systems. This elevates the administrator's role from a day-to-day manager to a more analytical and strategic leader for the institution. But it also requires them to have enhanced data literacy and a sophisticated understanding of how to interpret and leverage AI outputs responsibly for institutional success.
That's a comprehensive picture of how roles are shifting: teachers, students, administrators, all adapting. So taking all this into account, the potential, the challenges, the changing roles, how do we strategically integrate AI effectively into our schools? And what's on the horizon for AI in education? What does the bigger picture of implementation and future trends look like?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The successful, meaningful integration of AI into education truly hinges on strategic planning, proactive ethical considerations, and a forward-looking perspective that anticipates future trends and potential challenges. It requires deliberate action. Let's start with developing human-centered AI policies and guidelines. This is foundational. UNESCO, as we've mentioned, strongly advocates for a human-centered approach. This means AI should primarily enhance human capabilities, promote social justice, sustainability, and human dignity. It should always support human decision-making and intellectual development, rather than undermining or replacing it. That should be the guiding principle.
So policies need to reflect those values.
Absolutely. Policy frameworks must explicitly address those critical ethical issues we discussed: fairness in outcomes, transparency in AI operations, robust data privacy, and clear accountability for AI system decisions. The current absence of comprehensive national regulations specifically on generative AI in most countries is a significant concern. It often leaves user data privacy somewhat unprotected, and educational institutions largely unprepared or unsupported in validating these powerful tools for their specific contexts and student populations. They're kind of flying blind.
So schools are figuring it out on their own.
Yes.
How's that going?
Well, due to the inherent complexity and the sheer rapid pace of AI development, many schools and districts are realizing the difficulty, maybe the impossibility, of crafting rigid, comprehensive policies tailored to every single AI tool or use case. It changes too fast. So instead, there is a growing, more pragmatic trend towards providing AI guardrails or basic guiding principles. These focus on ensuring student safety, protecting privacy, and fostering ethical use in the classroom, rather than trying to ban specific tools or anticipate every scenario.
Like the early bans on ChatGPT that didn't really work.
Exactly. Initial reactions, like those outright bans in large public school systems like New York City and Los Angeles, proved largely ineffective and even problematic. They created disparities, for instance. AI detection software used to enforce the bans was often found to be biased against non-native English learners, flagging their writing incorrectly. And children from wealthier families could often still access AI through personal devices or VPNs, circumventing the bans anyway. So those bans were mostly quietly rolled back as educators recognized that students would use AI regardless and that the detection software itself often exhibited problematic biases. This whole experience has led to a more pragmatic approach.
Adapt rather than prohibit.
Exactly. Educational systems are now increasingly embracing AI's role, recognizing it's here to stay, and developing less restrictive, more adaptable policies that focus on responsible integration and teaching critical usage skills. This evolution from outright bans to guardrails and human-centered policies signifies a pragmatic adaptation to AI's inevitability and a maturing understanding of its integration challenges. The initial attempts to forbid AI tools were largely ineffective. They created inequities, and they highlighted that AI is a pervasive arrival technology. It's here. Students will use it irrespective of official prohibitions.
So the focus shifts to guidance.
Right. This demonstrates a recognition that AI cannot simply be forbidden. It must be navigated thoughtfully. The shift towards guardrails reflects an understanding that rigid, prescriptive rules quickly become obsolete in this rapidly evolving technological landscape. Instead, the focus is on principles-based guidance that fosters responsible use, critical thinking, and ethical awareness, empowering educators and students to engage with AI thoughtfully rather than just avoid it or use it secretively. This implies that policy development itself needs to be agile, iterative, and collaborative, involving ongoing input from educators, students, tech experts, ethicists to ensure relevance and effectiveness that can actually keep pace with technological change.
Well, the policy is key. What about the people using the tools every day, the teachers?
That leads directly to the next crucial aspect, and perhaps the most critical for successful adoption: the importance of professional development for educators. This cannot be overstated. It is absolutely crucial that teachers are equipped to feel confident and competent to use AI responsibly and effectively, minimizing potential risks to students and society while maximizing its benefits for learning. Despite many district leaders recognizing AI as a potential game changer for easing teacher workloads, helping with lesson planning, grading, and targeting student interventions, the reality on the ground is that many teachers still have minimal actual experience or training with AI in their day-to-day practice.
There's a gap between potential and practice.
A significant gap between the perceived potential of AI and the practical readiness of the teaching workforce. The necessity for high-quality, ongoing professional development is paramount. Training programs must cover the practical use of relevant AI tools, but more importantly, focus on how AI can genuinely address diverse learning needs and accelerate learning equitably for all students. Such development should emphasize how AI enhances teacher effectiveness, how it augments their skills, not replaces them.
Is there evidence that PD helps?
Yes, research indicates that teachers who receive training and leverage AI for both workflow planning, like scheduling or communication, and content creation report greater productivity gains in managing their workload and improving the quality of their work. AI-powered dashboards that visualize student progress have also been shown to improve teacher feedback uptake, leading to better instructional adjustments. Furthermore, AI-simulated students like virtual patients for medical students offer valuable low-stakes practice opportunities for new teachers, providing a safe and flexible environment to refine instructional strategies and classroom management techniques before working with real students.
Practice without consequences. That's useful.
Very useful. The evolving role of teachers necessitates continuous professional development that goes far beyond just basic tool proficiency. It's not just about learning which buttons to click, it's about adapting pedagogical approaches to thrive in an AI-rich environment. Effective professional development must foster critical evaluation of AI outputs, ethical integration into the curriculum, and innovative application to truly transform learning, not just automate old practices. This continuous learning ensures that educators can effectively guide students in an AI-powered world, maintaining that essential human element that is truly irreplaceable in education while leveraging the best of what the technology offers.
Okay, policy and PD are crucial for implementation now.
Yeah.
What about the future? What trends are we seeing? And are there any more speculative or even worrying impacts we should consider?
Looking ahead to future trends and speculative impacts, AI's role in education is definitely expected to continue its rapid evolution, bringing both anticipated advancements and perhaps more profound, potentially unsettling, speculative changes. On the anticipated side, we expect increased automation of administrative tasks across the board: grading, scheduling, lesson plan assistance, detailed progress tracking. This will undoubtedly free up even more time for teachers to focus on individual student needs and complex instruction. Personalized learning experiences will likely become even more sophisticated. Think about the development of custom GPTs or AI chatbots trained on specific curriculum materials, or even anonymized data sets related to individual students, offering truly bespoke educational pathways that adapt to minute learning shifts in real time.
Hyper-personalization.
Exactly. Widespread, age-appropriate guidance and curriculum materials for how to use AI ethically and effectively will become more common, ensuring that the technology is applied appropriately across different grade levels and developmental stages. Beyond the classroom instruction itself, AI's presence in physical security will likely increase, potentially controversial, but likely particularly in school safety systems, like advanced digital cameras with analytics, access control systems, and maybe in transportation, optimizing bus routes, and possibly monitoring driver behavior for enhanced safety and efficiency.
Okay, those are the more predictable trends. What about the less certain, maybe more profound impacts?
Right. The deeper integration of AI also invites more speculative impacts that compel a deeper re-examination of education's core purpose and structure. AI may reveal or even exacerbate what some researchers call sticky constitutive paradoxes of education. These are inherent complexities and contradictions within the system, like balancing standardization with personalization or equity with excellence, that cannot be easily solved by technology alone and might even be made more complicated by it. What often begins as a technological utopia, aiming to create optimal learning conditions, can, as research suggests, quickly create an idea of increased requirements and new necessities to achieve specific goals, often regardless of the costs involved or the broader human implications. The tech creates new demands.
Like an arms race for the best AI.
Possibly. Historically, educational reforms since the 1980s have sometimes diminished teacher autonomy by centralizing authority with the state, municipalities, principals, or the school market. There's a concern that AI could further this trend by shifting authority and critical decision-making processes away from individual educators towards algorithms or centralized platforms. There is also a significant, well-documented risk that AI systems could inadvertently incorporate, perpetuate, and even legitimize existing structural injustices, including algorithmic oppression, exploitation, and dispossession, if they are not very carefully designed, rigorously monitored, and democratically governed with diverse stakeholder input.
Amplifying existing inequalities through tech.
That's the danger. And current inactivity and personalization rhetoric, if you look closely, often focuses narrowly on achieving correct answers quickly, rather than supporting the messy, dynamic process of learning, which involves struggle and reflection. Or it focuses on closed, fixed tasks rather than open-ended creative tasks where AI might be less helpful or even detrimental. This raises concerns about the potential for AI, if not thoughtfully implemented, to inadvertently narrow the scope of learning, perhaps stifling curiosity and broader intellectual exploration in favor of optimized performance on specific metrics.
Getting the right answer fast, but maybe not understanding deeply.
That's a potential pitfall. Furthermore, human-AI interactions themselves are foreseen as potentially problematic. We've touched on risks for student privacy and autonomy if systems become too intrusive or data-hungry. Biases within the large language models, the LLMs that power many generative AI tools, have been widely emphasized in the literature, presenting a constant challenge to achieving fairness, neutrality, and avoiding the spread of misinformation or stereotypes. And a really significant concern here is anthropomorphism. That's the alarming surge we're seeing in people attributing human features, emotions, and consciousness to computers, partly due to the very convincing conversational form of generative AI tools like chatbots. They feel like they understand you.
Thinking the chatbot is your friend?
Essentially, yes. This could disrupt relationships between humans as well as between humans and computers. Because of the illusion of a reality, an understanding, or even a relationship that AI constructs, it can make it harder to discern authentic human interaction and connection from sophisticated machine mimicry. And what does that do to our social fabric, especially for young people developing their social skills?
That's a profound thought, a really profound thought. So what does this all mean for us? Where do we go from here? These speculative impacts truly compel a deeper re-examination of education's core purpose, don't they? If AI automates many routine cognitive tasks, the emphasis shifts powerfully, maybe necessarily, towards those uniquely human attributes. This means education must explicitly, intentionally cultivate creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, ethical reasoning, preparing students not just for jobs, but for a future where human ingenuity and artificial intelligence will not just coexist, but truly converge and collaborate in complex ways. As we wrap up this deep dive, it's abundantly clear that AI offers truly transformative opportunities for personalized, engaging, and potentially more equitable education. That potential is real, but its success hinges entirely on a deliberate, thoughtful, human-centered implementation. It won't happen automatically or easily. AI can undeniably boost efficiency, accessibility, and even creativity in the classroom, but it also demands constant vigilance from all of us educators, policymakers, parents, students when it comes to safeguarding privacy, actively mitigating algorithmic bias, preventing over-reliance that stifles critical thinking, and most importantly, preserving and enhancing the irreplaceable human element of learning, that human connection.
Absolutely. And to reiterate some key recommendations or perhaps calls to action for moving forward responsibly in this complex landscape. First, we must prioritize human-centered AI policy development, focusing on less flexible guardrails rather than unworkable bans, emphasizing human agency, ethics, transparency, accountability, and robust user data control. Policy needs to be proactive and values-driven. Second, we absolutely must invest in comprehensive, ongoing professional development for educators. Equipping teachers not just with AI literacy, how to use the tools, but with deep ethical understanding and new pedagogical strategies designed for effective, critical human-AI collaboration in the classroom. Third, implementing robust data privacy and security protocols is simply non-negotiable. This means stringent technical measures like encryption and anonymization, but also clear consent processes and regular independent audits. Fourth, we need to proactively and continuously address algorithmic bias. This requires sustained, interdisciplinary effort to identify, test, and mitigate bias throughout the entire AI lifecycle, from design to deployment and monitoring. It's never done. Fifth, bridging the digital divide remains critical. Real investment is needed in universal internet access and equitable device distribution to ensure AI's potential benefits actually reach all students, not just the privileged few. Sixth, we likely need to redesign curricula to foster higher-order thinking, intentionally prioritizing those uniquely human skills like critical thinking, creativity, complex problem-solving, collaboration, and socio-emotional competencies as these become even more valuable in an AI world. And finally, seventh, we must actively cultivate student agency and AI literacy. This means explicit instruction on AI's capabilities and its limitations, critical evaluation skills for AI outputs, and a strong foundation in the ethical use of these powerful technologies.
That's a powerful list of actions. It really underscores the need for a holistic, thoughtful approach. So as a final thought for you, our listener, as AI becomes an increasingly intertwined part of all our lives, not just in schools, but everywhere in our workplaces, our homes, our information streams, how do you think your own learning and work habits might need to adapt?
How can you prepare to truly thrive in a world where human ingenuity and artificial intelligence increasingly converge? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.